What's up everyone, this is Midnight Strike 3625 and we are back again to cover something that I missed during my extended hiatus. This time, it's something that's not as old, but it's still recent enough to be in fresh memory. That is one of my favorite bands of all time, Killswitch Engage, and their most recent studio album, Atonement. This album was released in 2019, just last year, in August in fact, and I actually didn't pick up on it until a few months ago. I didn't listen to it for the first time until I believe like March or April or something, because I was so out of it, I didn't really even know it existed that they came out with a new album. So this is just as fresh to me as it is to you guys when you first heard it, I suppose. To get started, this is their first album since Incarnate, and it once again features Jesse Leach on vocals at the helm, and it's pretty much the best way that I would describe it would be more of the same, actually, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because at this point they have gotten down their formula to a tight-knit construction where each song is crafted just the way it needs to be. Now, where I would place this album as far as quality would be probably in between The End of Heartache and Incarnate. It's better than Incarnate, but in my opinion, I think The End of Heartache has a little bit of an edge up on it, which is kind of ironic considering The End of Heartache has a song called Take This Oath on it that features Jesse Leach on vocals when Howard Jones was their main lead vocalist. This album, Atonement, has Howard Jones as a guest vocalist, with Jesse Leach as their main vocalist, on the song The Signal Fire. And of course, this is a reference to Howard Jones' new band Light the Torch, which had to change their name from Devil You Know. And I might cover their album Revival maybe a month or so down the line if I have time, but I am not sure as of right now. I have not heard the entire thing, but from what I have heard, it's pretty decent. I will give it that. So it's a nod to the name of Light the Torch when they had to change it after the lawsuit. So overall, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm just going to give it to you straightforward. Atonement is a very, very good album. It's not as diverse and creative as Incarnate, but in my opinion, it does all the right things and pulls out all the stops, and it's very consistent in a way that really brings out the best in the songwriting, especially on songs like I Am Broken Too, and of course, As Sure as the Sun Will Rise. Now, my only complaint about some of these songs is, of course, the length. The length of As Sure as the Sun Will Rise is, I believe, under 3 minutes, and some of these songs feel like they could have been fleshed out for a lot longer, at least 3 to 4 minutes, if not 5. That was a bit of an issue on Disarm the Descent, but the songs were so fast-paced and heavy and banging that really I didn't notice until, maybe a year or two ago that the songs were all pretty much under 3 minutes, or 4 minutes even. There's not a single track on Disarm the Descent that exceeds 5 minutes. I believe Always was the longest song on that album, and it was like 4 minutes and some odd seconds. But anyways, back to this album, Atonement. This album kicks off with the song Unleashed, which sounds like it could have been a B-side off of Incarnate, if not one of the main tracks. It's got that creative flow to it, it's very melodic, and it's not as heavy as some of the songs on, say, Disarm the Descent or prior, but it definitely has some great songwriting and some great melody as well. The next song is The Signal Fire, and that's the one that everyone knows from the single. And what else can I say about it other than the fact that it is heavy, it is fast, and it kicks ass. I really like it. I like it actually a lot better than Take This Oath. I think Take This Oath sort of trudged along, whereas this song is really fast and in your face, and it's got some really good lyrics as well, and some really good performances by both of the vocalists put together. They definitely have a lot of cohesion in that regard. It's very simplistic and doesn't have a lot of soloing, but really, in this case, it doesn't need it. And then the album slows down with Us Against the World, and it's got some good stuff here. It's very heavy, but it's a little bit slower than the last track, like I said. The next song is probably the heaviest song on the album, The Crownless King, and it features a guest vocalist from someone I honestly can't think of at the moment. I'll probably put the title of the person featured right there as soon as I edit this video. I'll look it up because I just blanking on his name, but that's a shame because he's really, really good. this is one of the heaviest tracks on the album, if not one of the heaviest in the band's career. It doesn't have a lot of melodic stuff going on, but it's very aggressive and in your face, and harkens back to the days of Alive or Just Breathing. However, the only problem with this is it doesn't exactly fit in with the rest of the album. It doesn't really feature a lot of cleans on behalf of Jesse Leach, and it's not very melodic like songs such as Us Against the World and, of course, I Am Broken Too. But that doesn't stop it from being a pretty kick-ass track. Now, the next song is, of course, I Am Broken Too, like I just said. It was one of the singles, and one of the better songs on the album as far as lyrical content goes as well. It's basically talking about depression and just empathizing with people who have been down in their lives before. The next song is As Sure as the Sun Will Rise, and it's very much in the same vein as I Am Broken Too, but it's got a lot more melody to it, I will say, and it's a little bit heavier. And I just love the vocal harmonies in this song, especially in the chorus. Just a really good song, but like I said, it's just a little bit too short. I wish they would have elongated it just a little bit, maybe add another solo, or just add some other parts to it, just to flesh out the song as best as it could. That was As Sure as the Sun Will Rise. The next one is Know Your Enemy. And honestly, when I was listening to this, I thought of like playing a video game. It's a really badass song. The next song is Take Control, another really good one. Ravenous, it's another heavy one. I Can't Be the Only One. Now, I Can't Be the Only One. The more I listen to this album, and the more I listen to this song in particular, the more I start finding things that I really like. It's very harmonious, and it's got a lot of really great guitar moments in it as well. And I just can't get enough of the chorus and just the singing in general, and how Jesse Leach just sort of pulls back and explores his own vocal range. I love it. The last song on the album is Bite the Hand That Feeds, and this is the perfect closer for an album that has a lot of cohesion but doesn't end up sounding too samey, much like What the Dead Men Say earlier this year, where it was really good, but a lot of the songs just sort of blended too much together, where it just made the album sound very much similar to just the entire thing, I guess. It's a good album, really, really good closer, Bite the Hand That Feeds, and overall I would probably give it a 9.5 out of 10. The same thing that I gave Incarnate, but it is better than Incarnate in my opinion. I'd probably rate Incarnate now like a 9. I don't know why I rated it so high, but both are good albums. This is definitely an album to check out, and I will probably be reviewing their B-sides for charity as well that they released not too long ago. It is Atonement 2 B-sides for charity. So this album actually does have a sequel with some B-sides on it. So hopefully I will be looking at that to continue the Killswitch Engage discography. This is Midnight Strike 3625. Hope you enjoyed this review. Keep calm and rock on.